How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, Faze Crypto, and today I would like to discuss Cardano. I'd like to discuss the broader world of the altcoins, but most importantly, I would like to talk about getting the weak hands out of the cryptocurrency space, because that's essentially what's happening right now. I'm sure that up in the ivory tower of the elites somewhere, they're coming up with a plan to get as many people as possible separated from their cryptocurrencies. And I think that they're doing it through market manipulation. And of course, for even weaker hands, there's a plentiful amount of news articles and all sorts of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is there to separate you from your altcoin bags. Now, of course, I think that right now we're witnessing one of the most interesting sales in the cryptocurrency space. As you know, and as I've previously made available publicly on this channel, I do expect the Bitcoin price to go down substantially as it currently stands at the 10,000, and we were in fact rejected off of that $12,000 point. I mean, of course, we did see upwards of 14,000 the beginning of this bull run. I would still see sort of a mirrored resemblance of what we saw happen shortly after the 2018 summer. We pretty much witnessed the price level out. Whether or not we ever see that $3,000 Bitcoin ever again, the long sought after sort of cryptocurrency time period now, where people get to look back and reminisce on the gains, because I think that there's a psychological factor at work when people realize that only a few months ago they could have picked up a substantial amount of Bitcoin and saw more gains on it than they did with whatever stock they were probably buying at the time, or the Acorns app, or whatever millennials are using these days to get separated from their inheritance. Regardless, I think that Cardano is really one of those blue chip cryptocurrencies that's on the horizon to really be very, very interesting paradigm shifting cryptocurrency. If Bitcoin is going to be the new gold, and I very much am confident that in the long term, especially if you look at the current economic situation, trade war with China, and of course global recession scale sort of events taking place now, whether I believe that's a whole bunch of hullabaloo or whether I'm buying into that version of FUD is beside the point. I would just like to emphasize the effect that this sort of narrative has, and it does draw attention in a very substantial way to a 2008 sort of perspective on the markets. And in all of this sort of combining in what would sort of be a perfect storm, we always love to pull up the global debt on this channel. We always love to discuss the things that are happening right now in the world where cash is actually going out of style. And this should at least worry people out there who are into a little thing called ownership. If you believe that the ownership, Bitcoin is a whole system built on ownership. And I think that when we see a collapse of the current network that's been the house of cards, if you will, of the entire system, I think that there will be a very big vacuum in terms of the network potential that's made available in a big way. And I think that if Bitcoin's going to be the new gold in that sort of situation playing out, I don't see why something like Cardano has a very big opportunity to in fact be what we might term as cash in that sort of scenario. And I'm not necessarily going to come out here and talk about how the prices are set for accumulation, because let's face it, we have had better entry points, we have had better opportunities to accumulate our cryptocurrencies that we know and love. And we're looking at Cardano now, but it is nice to see the price getting nice for sugar and spice. Of course you can't get it at 2 cents at the current time, but you take into consideration other cryptos that have bottomed out or come close to bottoming out. I mean, I know people have taken some serious hits on their holdings of NEO, and one of the really concerning issues that arises when we want to talk about NEO is the fact that it could actually go to 11 pennies or even lower. And it's only, of course, there's people who are buying their NEO at $150 is quite ridiculous. So, I mean, there are still going to be some people holding some even bigger bags, lighter but still fluffy bags. Let's face it. But yeah, I do see Cardano as being a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, when we want to talk about decentralized public blockchain and the potential that this team has really made available and opened up so many different doors. And I think one of the things that Cardano actually has going for it right now is the fact that they are pretty much free from a lot of the various criticisms that are aimed towards many of the other competitors that already have their product on market. The fact that Cardano is still in its early stages and it has the potential to learn from a lot of the let's say bumps in the road that a lot of other cryptos have essentially ironed out for ourselves. I mean, of course, learning from the Bitcoin and all these other experiments that have led us to this point, I think that it is very interesting to see something like Cardano making its play on the world stage, and especially how the potential to leverage the potential. I mean, a lot of these other actors that are coming in, of course, are not going to ignore the altcoin. Let's be honest. I mean, when we finally do see Bitcoin moon, when it finally happens, when we see $100,000 Bitcoin, whether it's a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, I am going to guarantee you that you could take this sound bite to the bank. I mean, I freaking swear that by that time we will see the altcoin season emerge. I mean, eventually when Bitcoin's finally at its point, at its crescendo, and we're seeing all these other variables, it's only a matter of time before the demand skyrockets. We're seeing institutions turning their ugly head towards Bitcoin, turning towards the cryptocurrency space as a solution. And it's interesting to see, because something like Bitcoin, which was initially created to liberate the people from the situation of what have you, banksters and all these other things, is actually going to be the thing that saves the very paradigm that it was created to upend. And I mean, that's a very interesting sort of poetic irony in that same token, no pun intended, but it is interesting, and it is going to happen. And of course, it's only a matter of time whether it's going to be a institution or bank, all these other things, basically creating their own, or competing on that same token. I mean, it's all happening before our eyes. So it is a very interesting time to be alive, very interesting time to be paying attention to these things. And it is going to be a very big opportunity for wealth creation for this next generation. So I would implore everybody out there, I would say, don't be disgruntled by the day-to-day. I mean, the fact of the matter is, they call it HODL for a reason. It is a long game. And I mean, if you're playing the day-to-day, I mean, more power to you. I mean, you can accumulate through all sorts of different means. But of course, remember, this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm only your friend here to express my opinion. If you guys are interested, make sure that you connect with us on our Twitter. Of course, that is at CryptoTuber. Always interested in hearing your opinions, always interested in hearing your perspectives, and we will catch up with you guys in the future. But for now, I am very excited about where we're going to be seeing all these other variables playing out, and I hope that we covered a lot of the key talking points that many of you were commenting in the last video. I know many of you wanted us to speak on a lot of these different issues, so I figured I would bring them to the forefront in this video for full transparency of what my day-to-day ideas on this cryptocurrency space are. So make sure that you guys subscribe, smash that like button, and of course comment down below letting us know what you'd like to see for coverage in future content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.